Ralph is gonna be fine. I just want to clarify that straight away. He's been seriously ill recently. There were a couple of uncertain and very expensive sleepovers at the vet's, but we're beyond delighted that he's now home safe and sound and going to be okay. He's actually had two completely separate issues, one more serious than the other, and I was making a video about the first less serious issue anyway, so I'll start with that. Okay, so around 6 or 7 months ago, Ralph started having these coughing fits. We took him to the vets where we used to live, and they assured us it was just hairballs and nothing to worry about. I don't know if you've noticed, but Ralph is very hairy, so this made sense. I even caught one of these coughing fits on camera when I was filming an old video.
You okay, bud? You okay?
It might seem cruel that I'm just watching and filming, but they told us to just let him get on with it, so I filmed it in case we needed to show the vet in future. Time travel forward a few months, he's still getting these coughing fits at least once a week. We're beginning to suspect there's more to it, and Danielle's read something online about feline asthma and Ralph's symptoms seem to match. By now we've moved house and therefore go to a new vet's, so decide there's no harm in getting a second opinion. We show the vet the video and she immediately says it's asthma, and the coughing is in fact Ralph having an asthma attack and struggling to breathe. I think it's quite a mild attack, but still, Ralph isn't exactly having fun. They do an x-ray to confirm, and the good news is there's no lumps or anything to indicate it's something worse, but his lungs are apparently covered in loads of tiny scars, which are the telltale sign of feline asthma. To cut a long story short, they gave him a steroid injection and we've now got some tablets. There's a few things we can do to hopefully minimise the attacks in future, such as keeping the house clean and avoiding candles, air fresheners, perfumes and deodorants. And if it does get worse, there is such a thing as a cat inhaler, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. I don't want to downplay it or equally exaggerate it, but the vets don't sound too concerned. It's something Ralph can live with, albeit with relatively minor lifestyle adjustments. Which brings us to last week. This part is completely separate and unrelated to his asthma. Danielle was randomly filming Ralph exploring a new cat bed for the first time. It was about 1 in the morning. However, as you can see from the video if I skip forward a bit, he basically tried to go for a wee in it. This was completely out of character, and he didn't actually get anything out, but left and then repeatedly tried to go elsewhere around the house. By now he was really very distressed, meowing constantly and still unable to get anything out. We realised something was seriously wrong, and Ralph was now clearly in a lot of pain, so drove him to the emergency out of hours vet a couple of towns away. They felt his bladder and told us it was full and blocked, and if not dealt with quickly, would probably kill him. They also said it hopefully wasn't, but if it was a problem with his kidneys, there was also a likelihood he wouldn't survive. They took him in, anaesthetised him and drained his bladder. Come morning, they told us everything had gone very well, and that he actually had bladder stones or crystals or something like that were lodged and causing the blockage. They'd successfully removed them, and now he essentially needed monitoring and looking after for the next few days. They'd also done a blood test, which thankfully showed his kidneys were absolutely fine. We had to drive Ralph ourselves to the normal daytime vets. The tubes and bags you can see were his catheter and IV. Then that evening, they said they were happy there was no longer a threat to his life and that he was gonna be okay, but would need another night at the emergency vets nonetheless. It all went well, and the next morning we could bring him home. Ralph spent the day purring happily in bed. He was genuinely delighted to be home. We were genuinely delighted to have him back, and importantly, he could once again go to the toilet by himself. Almost immediately, he was completely back to normal, as if nothing at all had happened. Going forward, he's got to be on a special diet and have medication for the rest of his life to hopefully prevent bladder stones or crystals building up again. He's got 2 shaved legs where they inserted the IVs, and a really gross shaved butt which I'm going to spare you from seeing. I'm so incredibly grateful to have him home and healthy again, and so exceptionally thankful to the vets for saving him. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional. It's possible and very probable I got details wrong. Please don't take any of this as advice, and definitely do speak to your vet if you're ever concerned about your pet.